let's talk to one of the good guys up on Capitol Hill, Florida Congressman Matt Gaetz. He serves on the Judiciary Committee. His latest book is titled Firebrand, Dispatches from the Front Lines of the MAGA Revolution. Sir, welcome to the Chris Salcedo Show. Glad to have you here.
Oh, thanks for having me. And when we look at these damaging attacks on our democracy that come from Minnesota, we're reminded that it's members of the squad that actually have raised funds for the groups that are purveying this fraud and that are undermining all of our confidence in the election.
Yeah, Ilhan Omar may be new to Congress, but it seems she's quickly acclimated to that Acorn school of election cheating with this scheme in Minnesota she's alleged to partake in, and similar cheating that we have now outlined in Texas. We'll get into that a little bit deeper into the program. But isn't it time that the punishment fit the crime, that Congress do something about cheating at the ballot box?
Well, forget Congress. Why doesn't the Department of Justice do something? The revelations regarding attacks on our democracy shouldn't come from guerrilla journalists like Project Veritas. We ought to have U.S. attorneys and the FBI as focused on the attack on the ballot box as they are, a rope hanging from a NASCAR garage. But what we've seen is a hyper-focus from the politicized entities within the FBI and the Department of Justice on Russia, and diminished focus on the actual election interference that's going on right here in our country, funded in part by the donations solicited by Kamala Harris and AOC and Ilhan Omar, Rashida Tlaib, and Ayanna Pressley.
Yeah, let's turn our attention to tonight's debate. What are your expectations for tonight?
Well, the president has to do more than Joe Biden in the debate tonight, but he is, in fact, capable of doing a great deal more. Joe Biden's surrogates will claim victory if he's able to make it through the debate just standing without conceding. I think the president needs to make sure to give Joe Biden enough leash to hang himself. In my conversations with the president, sometimes he finishes my sentences. He'll cut you off because he's just so engaged. And I would advise the president, just allow Joe Biden to face what is likely the biggest challenge that he will face, which is the completion of a thought, a paragraph, or a sentence.
Yeah, a lot of people believe he'll have a lot of help anyway from Chris Wallace over there from Fox News Sunday. Let me pivot to maybe a focus that might be in your book. I haven't had the fortune yet to read it. But let me ask you about this, because the Democrats during the Obama administration, they were silent on Russian malfeasance. Now they're silent with malfeasance in our election from China and from Iran. They're silent on China, the China virus, of course, and the killing of their own constituents. What do you make of this? You work with these people. How is it that they are so silent on the damage our enemies are doing to this country? And do you address this in your book?
Win the 21st century, we have to focus on China, and we've got to stop trying to build democracies out of sand and blood and Arab militias in the Middle East. And the establishment focus on Russia is also misplaced. It comes from Republicans and Democrats, and largely they misunderstand Russia. It's a country in demographic tailspin. They have a commoditized economy. I mean, heck, Russia's got two major exports, oil and models, and we got plenty of both in America.
That's for sure. We're going to talk a little bit in about a couple of minutes here about the Flynn case. But tied up in all of this is Democrat malfeasance from the previous administration, which you had a front row seat for all of this. The Durham report, now we're hearing reports that it's not going to be released. We won't know about all the Obama-era shenanigans before the election so we can make a more informed decision. That's pretty frustrating for a lot of folks in the conservative movement. How do you feel about that?
I believe we should have seen work product by Durham by now. I mean, if you look at the Mueller timeline, he was firing out subpoenas and indictments against Russians that we will never see. And we really have seen no impact of the Durham investigation yet. I mean, heck, the Democrats are talking about contact tracing every American. How about we contact trace John Durham and figure out who he's talked to and what crimes he's uncovered?